Hello everyone, welcome to today's news charter. Let's begin with the most important topics which were in news for the day. Before that, let us start with a prelims practice question. In the India Middle East Europe Economic Corridor project was signed at the G7 summit in New Delhi. So recently, this particular summit, that is India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, has been in news regularly. So we need to know about it, especially for 2024 examination. It is very important. This is the first statement. Second one, the project forms part of the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment. This is the second statement. The proposed IMEC, that is about this project. It will consist of railroad, ship to rail network, and then road transport routes. And four options have been given. Let us discuss about it by the end of the session. Keep watching. I'll explain you what exactly the answer is. Let's start with the first topic, that is urban floods in India. So in the recent times, whenever the monsoon happens, at least one or two cities of the country every year will be flooded. So what are the major reasons for it? One thing, there is no drainage, there is no proper drainage channels, there is no proper well-established drainage system in the country. This is one thing. Encroachment of all the important wetlands, lakes, etc. by the people or by the infrastructure development companies. Climate change has intensified the monsoon. So whenever monsoon rain happens, it just pours down. So because of this, too much of flooding happens. Uninformed release of water from dams. So this is another major problem. Whenever the rain happens, or even before the rain is happening, without proper prediction, what the government will do is they will open the water from the dams. So because of this, the rivers will be full and suddenly rain will happen, which will result in flooding. Illegal sand mining. The sand of the river basin, if they are removed completely, then how will the water be carried? The water will get into the villages and the cities. So these are all the major reasons. What measures we should take? What measures should be considered to overcome these problems? So this topic comes under urbanization topic in GS1. So there is a very good chance you might get a question. That's why you need to know the causes, you need to know the measures required also. First thing, green spaces should be prioritized. So if any construction happens, any kind of infrastructure building happens, the government should ensure that at least a certain percentage, for example, 10 percentage or 15 percentage of the land should be of garden or green spaces. Retention ponds should be built. Retention ponds means in the low-lying area of the city, ponds, lakes, and such embankments should be built so that the water can be saved there. More permeable surfaces should be there. At present in the cities, you can see it is completely filled with pavements. So because of these pavements and roads, the water doesn't get drained away. So enough permeable surfaces should be there, means more sand based, more soils should be there, more gardens should be there. So such kind of development should be built. Study the urban and peri-urban water dynamics. Peri-urban means the immediate buffer zone of the city. That is peri-urban. In these regions, the urban and peri-urban region, there should be proper hydrological study, proper mapping should be done. We should have proper system to understand how much of rainfall can happen in a city at a particular point of time based on previous average amount of rainfall. Such things will prevent urban flooding in India. Hydro elevation, that is drainage mapping should be done. We need to create a unified flood control and implementation agency. See, why we need a proper unified flood control implementation agency in India? Because when rain happens, rain does not know which city it is raining or in which state it is raining. Rain happens according to the geographical condition. Rain doesn't follow the proper border system or anything. So we need a uniform flood control all over the city, all over the country, so that every city and every state can adapt a proper code. So these are all the suggestions or measures you can give if you get a question on urban floods in India. India-Oman relationship is very important because the king of Oman is going to come to India. So, what are all the basic historical features, historical backgrounds you need to know, and certain basic important facts you need to know from the examination perspective? When we talk about India-Oman relationship, first thing what you need to know is about the geography of Oman. That means map study. So when it comes to map, Oman is located in the Arabian Peninsula. So on north of Oman, we have Saudi Arabia, and to the northeastern part of Oman, we have United Arab Emirates. Oman has Oman is located along the Gulf of Oman, and then we have Yemen in the western part of Oman. So this map is extremely important. You need to know the map very well. This is first thing. Second, about India and Oman relationship. Even though Oman is a Arabic country, it is a Islamic country. Oman has been maintaining very good relationship with India. India and Oman has signed a strategic partnership agreement in 2008, which is a clear indication of friendship between India and Oman. We conduct multiple military exercises. India and Oman Army conducts an exercise called Al Naja. Air Force conducts an exercise called Eastern Bridge. And then the navies of both the countries conducts an exercise called Nasim Al Bahar. The cooperation in ensuring maritime security is also very significant when we talk about India-Oman relationship because both the countries share the Arabian Sea. So they need very good security measures in the Arabian Sea. There are around 6,000 India-Oman joint ventures functioning in Oman. India and Oman launched the RuPay debit card also recently. So these are all the points you need to remember from mains examination point of view from GS2. How our relationship should be developed from now on because the head of Oman is going to visit India in this situation. What measures India should take? How we should move towards better friendship with Oman? First thing, there should be an agreement on joint exploration of rare earth metals. There is very good scope for a agreement. Proposed India Middle East Europe connectivity corridor infrastructure project. So recently, the G20 meeting happened in India, and in the New Delhi declaration, the G20 countries told that we are going to launch a India Middle East Europe connectivity corridor. This corridor is considered to be a substitute of the Belt and Road Initiative of China. So according to this project, we will have a proper trade connectivity from India towards the Middle East and from Middle East towards the Europe, which is going to develop the global economy to a greater extent, and it is going to push the Indian economy to a far greater extent. So in this context, Oman can play a major role because you can very well see that Oman is located in the Arabian Sea. So the Oman has a very good transit, a good number of transit ports when it comes to trade. So Oman can act as a good partner here. We need to make some arrangements regarding that. 1,400-kilometer long deep sea pipeline is in proposal. This proposal should be cleared by both the countries. If these things happen, our trade will develop even better. In the recent times, especially at the present, in the last 2 3 months, exports of India has been declining. One of the major reason for declining of exports in the recent time in India is because of the decline in global demand. Global demand has been declining because of war that is going on in Israel and Palestine, the continuing war that is going on between Russia and Ukraine. So in this context, this exports decline and increase keeps happening. But one major problem with India is Indian export has always been less. India is an import-based country. So what measures the government has taken to improve the exports of the country is what you should know from examination point of view. Three important schemes are there. First one, remission of duties. or taxes on export product. So according to this scheme, why this scheme is was brought in, because all the exporters, whenever we talk to an exporter of the country, they will tell that one of the major reason why we are not able to be profitable is because we have heavy amount of duties. Export duties are very high. Whereas in countries like China, export duties are very less. This is what the general businessmen or exporters complain. This is the reason we have brought in this scheme. According to this scheme, there will be reduced export duty, and then there will be refund of several taxes back to the exporters. So this is going to benefit the exporters to a greater extent. Duty-free import authorization is another scheme in which duty-free import of inputs. So any company which is going to export their product. If there is a company which is going to develop certain projects which will be exported outside the country, and for those companies, if they are importing oil, fuel, or energy sources as imports, for those imports, we will not apply any duty. This is the scheme. Export Promotion Capital Goods Scheme. The EPCG scheme or Export Promotion Capital Goods Scheme is a zero duty scheme which allows the import of capital goods. So if I have a company and if I have to develop certain products which will be exported outside the company, in order to develop those products, first I need some capital goods. That is, I need some machineries, I need some inputs so that I can build a company. So whenever I am going to import these machineries as capital, for those goods, there will be no duty. So this is a scheme brought in by the government of India to promote export-based companies in India. So all these schemes are very important. GS3, we we have a very good scope of getting a question on this. One important point for mains examination. Liberalized remittance scheme has been in news regularly. According to liberalized remittance scheme, any resident who is living in India can freely remit up to $250,000 per financial year. If I am from some other country and if I am living in India and if I want to spend some money outside the country, that is from whatever wealth I have accumulated or from whatever profits I have accumulated in India, I can spend only 250,000 outside the country. So this is the limit. So go through it from mains examination point of view. It is important because liberalized remittance scheme has been introduced so that more foreign people will come to India and there will be ease of doing business in India. So this point you can use in your examination. Mains question of the day: what is smart urbanization? Illustrate with example what measures can be adapted by Indian cities to develop better infrastructure. Urbanization is a topic in paper 1 in GS1. So you need to know what is smart urbanization. It's very simple. All you need to know is what is the smart city mission. If you are studying about smart city mission, if you are studying Amrut mission, you will get to know what is smart urbanization. Study it and try to write answer. You can send answers to us on our Telegram channel, or you can comment on the comment section. We will reply for you. Illustrate with example what better measures can be taken care of. So that's what we need to focus on: infrastructure, we need to focus on disaster prevention, we need to focus on basic amenities provided to the citizens. So from example perspective, you can take some Indian cities itself. Chandigarh is a very good example for proper urbanization. You can take the example of Shanghai, where flooding has been completely dealt with. So these kind of examples you can research a little bit. Even for your examination, it is going to be extremely helpful. From prelims point of view, you need to know the difference between headline inflation and core inflation, especially because this year inflation has been up and down continuously. So we need to know what exactly is headline inflation. We need to know what exactly is core inflation. Headline inflation is the total inflation in an economy. It includes price rise in food, fuel, and all other commodities. Then why do we need a core inflation? Core inflation should be known because products such as food and fuel keeps changing their prices regularly. So we cannot consider them all the time. To know about the core products of the country, to know about the core goods of the country, we need a core inflation. So wholesale price index is called as the headline inflation because it includes all the products. Core inflation is wholesale price index minus the food and fuel price because food and fuel price are not consistent in nature. Their prices keeps changing each and every day. So this point is extremely important. About the prelims practice question, so three statements are given. First thing, India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor project was signed at the G7 summit in New Delhi is a wrong option because it was signed in G20 summit. G20 summit happened in 2023 in New Delhi. So this point is wrong. Here it is extremely easy to answer this question because in three options the statement one is given. So even if you do not know the second and third option, you can clearly go with second and third option. Study about this particular project, India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor is extremely important. Apart from this, get enrolled for the scholarship test of Vishishta IAS also. If you are able to clear the scholarship test with top 5 scores, you will be getting the entire scholarship, entire prelims test series at free of cost. Even for others, it is going to be a very cheap cost. So you can try to enroll for the scholarship test. The scholarship test is going to be conducted on 24th. The description and the link for the pamphlet is given in the description of this video. You can go through it. All the best. We'll see you tomorrow.